Hello watchers, welcome to this first customization video for the first 4 issues of the MOOMIN House. So what I want to do is this cloak stand or hat stand or whatever you want to call it. I like it, but it really annoys me seeing the burnt edges of basically where the laser cutter has been. So what I'm going to do is prime this and then paint it completely white, so it'll all be white. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, so I can prime it and then do the other things while it's drying. The other thing I'm going to do is, I've sort of decided whether or not I wanted to do it, but I think I am going to scuff up the stairs just a little bit, just to make them, give them a more worn-in, more feel to it, a lived-in feel is what I'm trying to say. But now this is all dried, this is super sturdy as well, which is lovely. I'm just going to sort of like wear in like the middle of the stairs where you would normally tread, and then perhaps on the side a little. And then I'm going to paint the inside of here black, and I'm going to use Liquitex iridescent black for this. It is black heavy body acrylic, so it's quite thick and gloopy, but it will stick to plastic. But the iridescence will give a slight shine to it, which coal sometimes actually does have. Because the other thing I want to try and do in this video is actually put a light in here as well and have like a little flickering light. So we're going to have a go at doing that as well. So if you want to see how I do any of those modifications, keep watching. Okay, so first up, let's go and prime this. I like to use primer outside. The primer that I'm going to be using is this Rust-Delirium surface primer, which is basically for anything really, on bare wood, metal and ceramics. They do have a separate one for plastic, so just bear that in mind if you're wanting to use it for plastics. But yeah, I'm just going to give this a good spray all the way around in a few coats as well. So don't just spray it all in once, otherwise it'll go goopy and start dripping. So let's go and do that. Okay, so while that's out there drying and priming, I'll probably give it another coat as well. I'm going to paint the inside of this to give this time to dry as well, so we need to take this apart again. Which is why I didn't glue it into place in the other video, which I'll leave a link in the description for that, or in the cards above, one or the other, somewhere on the screen. So I'll just leave it like that. And then I'm just going to use this straight from the tube. And I'm just using a number 8 filbert brush. You can use any one that you want, it's not relevant. Just to get some paint on. But again, I'm not going to go too thick because the last thing I want is for it to seep through on the other sides. So I'm literally just going to cake it on. And again, it might need a few layers. Yeah, so I'm not going to go all the way to the top because you're never going to see the top. But I am just going to do the sides on here as well. Just only going 3 tiles high. Even then that's probably too much, but I'd rather have too much than too little. Now if this was a piece that I knew I was going to be touching a lot, I would actually prime this with plastic primer. But because it's inside, your fingers aren't going to be touching it, it's not really necessary. I don't think anyway. Time will tell. I may regret that decision, but I can always go back and do it if need be. Yep, so let's just leave that to dry for a little bit. I mean, it's acrylic, so it's not going to take forever. But we'll just put those bits aside for the moment. Yeah, I think I'm just going to paint the inside just on the bottom here. Just on the bottom there. So therefore all my bases are literally covered. Oh yeah, leave that to dry. So I'm just going to pop this a little bit away from, because I'm going to do some sanding, so the last thing I want is some sanding to stick to the paint. So the other thing we're doing is sanding this just a little. Now I'm going to use some sandpaper that I've got. It doesn't come with a magazine. But it's 120 grit, so it's quite a fine grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to go in and lightly press. Although having said that, I think I need quite a coarse grit. That's 240, which did come with a magazine. That's not 320. What's this stuff? 240 as well, but it's smaller. Let's use that. So let's use a coarse one, because this paint on the front is actually quite thick. There we go. So it's just giving off that lived in effect, which is what I was after. I'm actually just going to use my knife just to scrape away a little bit, because the sandpaper is actually taking the detailing of the decking away, which is what I really, really don't want. I'm scratching away. I'm just going to go over the top of it just to soften it just a slightly bit. And then we've got that edge as well. Do I want to do it again on that side? Might as well. Make it match, but do it in different places. Just get rid of the debris off the cutting mat. So yeah, it just gives it a little bit of an extra character, really. I actually really like that. I didn't think I'd like it, but I was like, let's just try it. What's the worst that could happen? but yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's all I'm going to do to the porch at the moment. So we'll see how this develops in further issues. So yeah, let me go put another layer on the primer outside. Yep, so just leave the second layer of primer to dry, and then after that we'll bring it in and we'll paint it white. So let's put another coat of the paint on here. So it's only going to need just this second coat and let that dry. And then I think, I mean, how are we going to get the light in here? I think I'm going to have to drill a hole. Now this is where it all goes wrong. I'm going to have to drill a hole in both of them, I think. Or do I want to come from the top? No, it's probably better from the bottom, and then I can have the wire coming out of the back. Yes. So let me get the lights. Okay, so I've made a hole on this one, and all I've done is use a small drill bit, and this is just a cheap drill from Lidl. I don't know any other way not to do it without a drill, and I've just used a small wood drill bit. You can get plastic ones, which would be the preferred method, but I don't have them. So I'm just going to do this one as well to show you, because obviously that sits on top of that. And I'm just thinking, actually, I might have to line up, so see how we fare. So I'm not going to take everything off, I'm just going to put it in. The top has come off. Oh well. Yep, keep going. Right, so that's drilled the hole in and took all the parts off, which isn't an issue because we can put those back. But I'm just going to give this a little bit longer to dry because, as you can tell on my cutting mat, the paint strips aren't fully dry. So we'll let those dry out in a minute. Well, let them dry out for a few minutes. While they're drying out, I'm going to show you what lights I'm using. So this is a haunted mansion. Just show you it all. If it'll show you, it's quite dark in that at the top. But yeah. So the effect that I'm going off, wanting to get are these flashing lights, candle lights. So what I'm going to do for now is basically just steal one from here, just to show you how it's going to go. So I'm going to take one that I've already taken apart from the set. Let me just move it across a little. There we go. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just going to take this one and show you how it's all going to connect together there. So I'm going to be using some Lego bits. I'm trying to think if I've got a black one rather than a white one. But these lights components are all from Light My Bricks. Now I am currently emailing back and forth with the people that run Light My Bricks, and I've explained to them what I'm doing and how I want to sort of light the MOOMIN House. They have asked for like a lighting diagram of how it's all going to go, but I'm like, I don't know yet until I get more sections of the house. So I'm just in talks with them to ask them for like an affiliate link so I can pass it on to you guys. So if you guys want to light the MOOMIN House with this sort of stuff, you can do, and hopefully maybe I can get a little bit of a discount for you, but I'm not sure about that, so don't hold me to it. I mean, I'm just in talks with them, because with Like My Bricks you can buy the sets for the Lego sets, but obviously the Moomin is not a Lego set, but you can buy all these wires in all the connecting blocks in circuitry separate, so you can buy individual components to however you want to put your lighting, which is what I'm intending to do for the MOOMIN House. It's just I'd like to try and be able to get you guys a little bit of a discount if you wanted to do that, and also it's good promotion for them as well, so hopefully I can get that sorted. But let's get on with putting the light in. Oh no, we need to let it dry a bit. So what I'm going to do next is jump back to the closing rack, paint that, and then hopefully the acrylics dried on the stove, and then we can put the lights in. Right, so what I've actually done now is brought in the cloak stand ready to paint. It's not covered it completely, but that's not what we were aiming for. It was just to give it a base coat, so the paint that I am going to use that's hopefully going to cover it will cover it. So that it can stick to it, is what I'm trying to say. So what I've done now is I've actually drilled a bigger hole. So this is a 5mm drill bit that I've used in this part, but not the other part, because I do actually have a piece of the Lego, and that hole will actually fit perfectly into that hole and stay in place without me having to glue it or do anything like that. And then the flame can stick in the top like so. So let's stick the stove all back together, hopefully, when I can get the Lego piece back out. Okay, in fact no, best leaving the Lego piece in there. What am I saying? So remember which way around the stove goes, because it was a bit tricky. Yeah. So now it's all put back together, and inside is very dark indeed. All we're going to do is pop this light, the LED, up into the hole, and I'm just going to tape down the wire just to keep it in place for now, so like that. I'm not being too neat at the moment because obviously this is wire that's on loan from this one, but I just want to be able to show you and also test it before I go out and buy a whole bunch of components. So now it's all on. Let's put the USB into the mains powered. You can get these batteries to be battery operated as well. And there we go, you can just see it flickering there. Now if I bring it up, you can really see it. But obviously this is broad daylight, so it'll be much better in the dark. But you can just see it flickering away in there. Trying to think. I mean, you can see it flashing against the white easily. But yeah, I'm really happy with that actually. But the other great thing about these lights is these wires are so thin. Like, that stands up perfectly while it's just still being squished by that. So they are so, they're not intrusive at all, and you can hide them in all the nooks and crannies, which is fantastic. If you hear him crunching in the background, that's my dog eating his biscuits. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way that that's done that, because I didn't want it to be overpowering. I just wanted a little something there. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. I'm just trying to turn the LED around because it was sort of on its side before, so it probably wasn't emanating as much light as what it probably could. That's actually worse. So we've got the doors closed. Give them a little open. Yeah, that's made the flame quite a bit brighter. So you've got to be careful of how you place the light underneath. But yeah, I think I'll glue this all now into place. But yeah, I'm very happy with that. Very happy indeed. Let's just turn that off and finish the other modifications. So in later modification videos, when I start adding more lights and things, I'll then start and tell you exactly what type, because there's obviously each wire's got like a different name and a different connector and stuff, so I'll start and specify exactly which one's which, because hopefully by then I've worked out what I need to use as well. Whereas at the moment I'm just hijacking the stuff that I've already got. So yeah. Little Mai, she's upside down drunk in the basket. So let's get on with painting this now. So all I'm using on this is the So Flat Matte Acrylic by Golden, titanium white. I found this is very opaque, but it's also quite thick, so I need to be a bit careful with it. And I'm just going to try my best to just paint it on nice and neatly. I'm going to use a number 6 round brush and see how I go with that. And I'm literally just going to pop it on. Might need a couple of coats, but make sure, in fact I really should have started with the top, you get into all the nooks and crannies. But this matte acrylic has no sheen on it, so it'll dry literally matte, which is what I quite like. Alright, and that's that all painted up. On camera it looks quite white, I think. I'm only looking in the viewfinder. But I will give it a second coat. But I'll just do exactly what you've just seen me do. So that's it for this first modification video. So you've seen me scuff up the stairs to make them look a little bit more lived in. Painted the clothes rack. And also painted the fire and added the light modification. So I hope you enjoyed that and are feeling inspired to modify your own one. Or if you've got any suggestions on modifications that I could do for this, by all means, I'm all ears. So leave a comment below or find me over on Instagram if you feel more comfortable contacting me that way. Which the link for my Instagram is down below if you want to contact me that way. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye for now.